car tires screamed across the wet highway as Lena grabbed the steering wheel with both hands and shouted at her sister. "Watch where you're driving." Maya jerked the wheel too late. Bright headlights exploded through the windshield. Metal crushed inward. Glass shattered across their faces. Then silence. A broken phone screen blinked on the dashboard beside Lena's motionless hand. One unread message flashed repeatedly. Tomorrow's surgery briefing confirmed. Rain poured through the shattered window while Maya dragged herself out of the wreckage, coughing blood and screaming her sister's name into the darkness. "Lena, Lena, wake up, please." But her twin sister didn't move. And deep inside, Maya already knew. The sister she had spent her whole life protecting was gone. Everything had started only a few hours earlier. Lena had burst into their apartment dancing to loud music from her phone while Maya sat at the dining table, surrounded by medical files. "You're seriously studying on a Friday night again?" Maya didn't even look up. "I have surgery prep tomorrow." Lena rolled her eyes dramatically. "You're 24 years old, not 70. Maya continued highlighting notes. "You said that yesterday. And I'll say it tomorrow too." Lena snatched the file from Maya's hands. "Enough. You're coming with me tonight." Maya frowned immediately. "No." "Why not?" "Because I hate clubs." "You hate everything." "That's not true. You work all day, study all night, and sleep for 4 hours like some depressed robot." Maya took the file back calmly. "Some people actually care about their future." Lena scoffed. "And some people know how to enjoy life." The apartment fell silent for a moment. They looked identical in every way physically. Same eyes, same lips, same smile. But emotionally, they lived in different worlds. Lena loved attention. Maya avoided it. Lena chased excitement. Maya chased perfection. Ever since childhood, people compared them constantly. The fun twin, the smart twin, the beautiful twin, the invisible twin. Only Maya knew how much those comparisons secretly hurt Lena. Lena sat beside her quietly. "Come on, Maya. Just tonight." "I can't." "You can." "I really can't." Lena's voice softened. "You know Dad's anniversary always messes with me." Maya finally looked at her. That changed everything. Their father had died 3 years earlier, and every year Lena buried her sadness behind parties, alcohol, and loud music. Maya sighed deeply. 1 hour. Lena gasped dramatically. "Oh my God, the Queen has spoken." 1 hour, Maya repeated. Lena screamed excitedly and ran toward the bedroom. "You're wearing black." Maya immediately regretted saying yes. An hour later, flashing lights painted the nightclub walls while heavy music shook the floor beneath them. Maya already looked miserable. Lena laughed while dragging her through the crowd. "Stop looking like someone kidnapped you." They basically did. "Relax. I can't hear myself think in here." "That's the point." Lena ordered drinks while Maya stayed close to the corner, uncomfortable under the attention of strangers staring at them. Twins always attracted attention, especially beautiful twins. A group of men nearby kept whispering while glancing toward them. Maya hated it instantly. Lena noticed and smirked. "You know, normal people enjoy compliments. Normal people also enjoy peace." Before Lena could respond, a tall man in an expensive suit approached Maya confidently. "You look bored." Maya forced a polite smile. "I'm fine. No one this beautiful should look this unhappy." Lena burst out laughing. "Oh, she always looks like that." Maya shot her an irritated glare. The man extended his hand. "I'm Adrian." "Maya." His smile widened slightly. Interesting name. Something about the way he looked at her made Maya uncomfortable. Not admiration. Calculation. Like he already knew her somehow. "You should dance with me," Adrian said. "No thank you." "I insist." "I don't." Lena leaned closer. "One dance won't kill you." Maya whispered sharply. "I want to leave." Lena groaned. "You've been here 20 minutes. And it already feels like prison." Adrian chuckled softly. "You're different from your sister." Maya froze slightly. "How do you know we're sisters?" He smiled. "Lucky guess." But Maya noticed something strange. His expression changed when he looked directly at her. Like recognition. Before she could think deeper about it, Lena grabbed her wrist. "One dance. Then we leave. Promise." Maya reluctantly followed her toward the dance floor while her anxiety kept growing stronger. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. Hours later, rain hammered violently against the windshield as Maya drove them home through the storm. Lena leaned against the window laughing drunkenly. "See? You survived." Maya tightened her grip on the wheel. I told you I didn't want to come. And yet you had fun. I absolutely did not. You danced. For 10 seconds. You smiled too. At the bartender's dog. Lena laughed harder. You're impossible. Maya shook her head. You always do this. Do what? Force people into things they don't want. Lena's smile faded slightly. Oh, please. I'm serious. You act like I ruined your life. You don't take responsibility for anything. Lena turned toward her angrily. At least I actually live. And at least I think before making reckless decisions. Wow. You heard me. The tension inside the car exploded instantly. Lena crossed her arms. You think you're better than everyone. That's not true. It is. I just don't want chaos all the time. Well, maybe your problem is you're scared to live. Maya opened her mouth to respond. Then headlights appeared directly ahead. Too fast. Too close. Lena screamed. Maya slammed the brakes. The steering wheel locked violently beneath her hands, and the car spun straight into darkness. Maya's body slammed against the inside of the crushed car as the sound of twisting metal echoed through the storm. For several seconds, she couldn't hear anything except a loud ringing inside her skull. Then pain arrived all at once. Sharp, burning, unbearable. Blood trickled down the side of her face, while rainwater poured through the shattered windshield. Maya. The voice was weak, barely audible. Maya forced herself upright immediately. Lena. Her twin sister was trapped against the passenger seat, breathing unevenly. Blood stained her neck and chest. Panic exploded inside Maya instantly. No, 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 stay awake. Lena tried to smile. You look terrible. Don't joke right now. Maya struggled against the bent door desperately. Help, she screamed into the storm. Somebody help us. No one answered. The highway was empty. Lena winced in pain. Maya, you're gonna be okay. You always lie badly. Tears mixed with rain on Maya's face. Please stop talking like that. Lena stared at her quietly for a few seconds. Then her voice softened. I'm sorry. Maya froze. For what? For always dragging you into my mess. Stop it. I know I make things hard sometimes. Lena, but you still stay. Maya finally forced the damaged door open and crawled toward her sister. You're not dying tonight. Lena's eyes slowly filled with tears. You know what my biggest fear was? Please stop talking. That one day, you'd stop needing me. Maya grabbed her face carefully. You're my sister. But you're stronger than me. No, you are. Sirens suddenly echoed in the distance. Maya nearly collapsed in relief. They're coming. You hear me? You're gonna be okay. Lena looked at her one last time. I should have listened to you. Then her eyes slowly closed. Lena. No response. Lena. Maya shook her harder. Lena. By the time the ambulance arrived, Maya was screaming uncontrollably in the middle of the rain. The hospital hallway smelled like antiseptic and death. Maya sat frozen in a wheelchair while nurses rushed past her. Everything felt unreal. Muted. Distant. A doctor finally approached her quietly. The expression on his face already said everything. I'm sorry. 3 words. That was all it took for Maya's world to collapse completely. Her lips trembled violently. No. The doctor lowered his eyes. We did everything we could. No. She stood up, so suddenly the wheelchair crashed backward. No, you don't understand. She was talking. She was awake. I'm very sorry. Maya grabbed his coat desperately. She can't be dead. Other nurses turned toward them. You have the wrong person. We're twins. Check again. The doctor gently removed her hands. I'm sorry. Maya stared at him for several seconds before her knees finally gave out beneath her. The scream that left her throat didn't even sound human. Hours later, dawn slowly crept through the apartment windows. The silence inside felt suffocating. One half of the room looked alive. The other half looked abandoned forever. Lena's makeup still sat beside the mirror. Her shoes remained near the door. Her perfume still lingered faintly in the air. Maya stood in the middle of the apartment staring at everything like a ghost. Then Lena's phone vibrated on the kitchen counter. Once. Twice. Again. Maya ignored it at first. Then it kept vibrating nonstop. Finally, she picked it up weakly. The screen lit up with multiple messages. Dr. Maya, tomorrow's surgical briefing is mandatory. Victor Kane's team already arrived. The patient's condition is worsening. Please confirm attendance immediately. Maya frowned through her exhaustion. Then realization slowly hit her. Her blood turned cold. Weeks earlier, Maya had used Lena's identity online to avoid public attention connected to the surgery program. The billionaire patient's team believed Lena was actually Maya. Nobody knew the truth. At the time, it seemed harmless. Now it felt catastrophic. Another message appeared. If you fail to appear, the contract will be terminated permanently. Maya sat down slowly. The surgery. Sophia Kane, the billionaire's daughter. The operation Maya had spent 8 months preparing for. One mistake during surgery could kill the girl instantly. And now the entire medical team expected Lena to arrive. Her chest tightened painfully. Everything was spiraling out of control. Then somebody knocked on the apartment door. 3 slow knocks. Maya wiped her face quickly before opening it halfway. A tall man in a black suit stood outside. Cold eyes. Emotionless expression. The same man she had noticed briefly near the VIP section at the club. "You're Dr. Lena Hart?" Maya hesitated. "Yes." The man studied her carefully. "Mr. Kane does not appreciate uncertainty." "I understand." "The surgery proceeds tomorrow morning." Maya swallowed nervously. "There was an accident last night." "We heard." His voice remained completely calm. "Mr. Kane sends condolences." Something about his tone felt rehearsed. "Empty. We'll send a driver at 8. Before Maya could respond, he handed her a small envelope. Inside was an advance payment check. The amount made her hands shake. It was more money than she and Lena had seen in years. Their hospital debts alone could finally disappear. Their late father's loans. Their overdue rent. Everything. The man turned to leave, then stopped suddenly. "One more thing." Maya's stomach tightened. "Mr. Kane does not tolerate failure." The words lingered heavily after he disappeared down the hallway. Maya slowly closed the door. Her breathing became uneven again. She stared at Lena's reflection in the dark television screen. Same face, same eyes, but now only one of them remained. Her phone suddenly rang. Unknown number. She answered weakly. "Hello." A little girl's voice replied softly. "Hi, is this Dr. Maya?" Maya froze. "Yes. My name is Sophia, the billionaire's daughter. I heard you're the best." Maya's throat tightened instantly. The little girl sounded terrified. "My dad says you're going to save me." Maya couldn't speak. "I'm scared," Sophia whispered. For several seconds, Maya just listened to the child breathe quietly through the phone. Then tears slowly filled her eyes again. Because for the first time since the crash, the reality finally hit her completely. Her sister was dead, and now someone else's life rested in her hands. Maya sat awake the entire night, with Lena's phone clutched tightly in her hands. Every corner of the apartment reminded her of the sister she had lost. The unfinished coffee cup near the couch. The jacket thrown carelessly over the chair. The lipstick stains on the bathroom mirror. Tiny pieces of Lena still existed everywhere. And somehow, that made the silence even worse. At exactly 7:58 a.m., black luxury vehicles stopped outside the apartment building. Maya looked through the window nervously. 2 security men stepped out first, then the same cold-faced man from before. Her pulse immediately quickened. This was real now. There was no time left to panic. No time left to grieve. She stood in front of the mirror one final time. Same face, same eyes. But Lena always carried herself differently. Confident, carefree, fearless. Maya straightened her shoulders slowly. Then she whispered softly to her reflection. "I'm sorry." Minutes later, she entered the back seat of the luxury vehicle while the city rushed past outside the tinted windows. Nobody spoke during the drive. The silence felt intentional, like a warning. Maya kept replaying every medical detail inside her head automatically. Blood pressure responses, medication dosages, emergency procedures, surgical sequence. Her photographic memory absorbed information like a machine. Once she saw something, it stayed forever. Normally, that gift made her exceptional. Today, it felt like a curse, because every memory from the crash replayed just as vividly too. Lena screaming. Headlights. Glass. Blood. Maya. The sudden voice startled her. The driver glanced at her through the mirror. "You okay?" She nodded quickly. "Fine." But she wasn't. Not even close. An hour later, massive iron gates slowly opened before them. Maya stared at the enormous mansion ahead in disbelief. The Kane estate looked more like a private palace than a home. Security guards surrounded the property. Luxury cars lined the driveway. Every detail screamed wealth and power. The moment Maya stepped out, several medical staff turned toward her immediately. A woman in scrubs approached first. "Dr. Hart, thank God you're here." Maya forced herself to remain calm. "Traffic." The woman handed her a digital tablet. "We updated Sophia's scans at 6 this morning." Maya glanced down briefly. Then her stomach tightened. The girl's condition had worsened significantly overnight. Without surgery, she probably wouldn't survive another week. "You'll be operating alongside Dr. Reynolds," the woman continued. "He's already preparing." Maya's chest tightened harder. Dr. Reynolds, one of the most respected surgeons in the country, also known for having zero patients. Perfect. As they entered the mansion, Maya noticed giant portraits covering the walls. One photo immediately caught her attention. Victor Kane standing beside politicians and powerful businessmen. Another showed him beside international surgeons. Another beside military officials. The man had influence everywhere. And suddenly Maya understood why everyone around him acted so tense. Power like this terrified people. A deep voice interrupted her thoughts. "You're late." Maya turned instantly. Victor Kane stood near the staircase, watching her carefully. Tall, sharp-featured, controlled. Even his silence felt intimidating. "I apologize," Maya replied carefully. Victor walked closer slowly. "You were in the accident." "Yes. And yet you still came." Maya nodded once. Sophia's father studied her face intensely. For one terrifying second, Maya thought he somehow knew the truth. Then he finally spoke again. "My daughter trusts you." The words carried enormous weight. "I won't fail her." Victor's eyes darkened slightly. "You better not." Before Maya could respond, another voice interrupted sharply. "So this is the genius assistant." An older man approached wearing surgical scrubs. "Dr. Reynolds." His expression immediately looked unimpressed. "You look younger than your record suggested." Maya kept her composure. "I get that often." He handed her a folder abruptly. "Review the scans again. I want complete focus today." As he walked away, Maya quietly opened the file, then froze. Because every detail inside matched the exact surgical study she had memorized months earlier. Every artery, every risk factor, every possible complication. For the first time since Lena's death, a tiny piece of confidence returned. She could do this. Maybe. A soft voice suddenly spoke behind her. "Are you really going to save me?" Maya turned immediately. Sophia Kane stood near the hallway entrance holding a stuffed rabbit. The 12-year-old girl looked pale and fragile. Dark circles rested beneath her eyes. Yet she still smiled nervously. Maya crouched carefully in front of her. "How are you feeling?" "Scared." The honesty in her voice hurt instantly. Sophia glanced down. "I heard doctors whispering." Maya's chest tightened. "What did they say?" "That if this surgery fails." The little girl couldn't finish the sentence. Maya gently touched her hand. "Listen to me." Sophia looked up slowly. "You're stronger than you think." The child studied her face quietly, then smiled faintly. "You sound tired." Maya almost broke emotionally right there. Because Lena used to say the exact same thing whenever Maya overworked herself. Sophia suddenly hugged her tightly. "Please don't let me die." Maya closed her eyes briefly. "I won't." But the second Sophia walked away, guilt crashed into her again. Because she wasn't supposed to be here. None of this was supposed to happen. Later that afternoon, Maya stood alone inside the surgical prep room, reviewing scans repeatedly. Everything depended on tomorrow. One mistake would destroy everything. Suddenly, the room door opened. Dr. Reynolds entered carrying additional files. "You've been quiet today." Maya remained focused on the scans. "Just concentrating." He studied her suspiciously. "You seem different from our previous meetings." Maya's heartbeat instantly spiked. "Careful. Very careful." "Stress," she replied calmly. "Maybe." His eyes narrowed slightly. "You've also stopped correcting people." "What?" "You used to argue constantly whenever another doctor made mistakes." Maya forced a small laugh. "I'm trying maturity." Dr. Reynolds didn't smile. Then his gaze shifted toward her wrist. "You stopped wearing your watch." Maya looked down instinctively. Lena never wore watches. Maya always did. "Damn. It broke," she lied quickly. The older surgeon remained silent for several seconds. Long enough to make her sweat. Then finally, "Get some rest tonight. Tomorrow we'll test everybody." Once he left, Maya exhaled shakily. That was close. Too close. She turned toward the sink and splashed water across her face. Then noticed movement outside the small prep room window. A man stood near the security gates, smoking quietly. Adrian, the man from the nightclub. Maya froze completely. What was he doing here? Before she could think further, Adrian slowly lifted his eyes toward the window, directly toward her, and smiled. Maya's blood ran cold the second Adrian smiled at her through the window. Not a friendly smile. Not surprise. Recognition. Like he had been expecting her. She stepped back immediately as her pulse began hammering violently inside her chest. What was he doing here? Before she could move closer again, a security guard approached Adrian outside the gate and escorted him away. But the damage was already done. Maya couldn't breathe properly anymore. Something connected the club, the crash, and this mansion. She could feel it. And whatever it was getting closer. That night, sleep never came. Maya sat alone inside the guest bedroom, staring at Lena's necklace resting in her palm. The only thing recovered undamaged from the accident. She remembered the day Lena stole it from a market stall when they were 15. Maya had panicked while Lena laughed the entire time. "You're insane," Maya had whispered back then. "And you're boring," Lena replied proudly. Maya smiled weakly at the memory before tears slowly returned again. Every memory hurt now. A knock suddenly interrupted her thoughts. 3 soft knocks. Maya quickly wiped her face. "Come in." Sophia entered quietly holding her stuffed rabbit again. "Sorry. I couldn't sleep." Maya immediately softened. "It's okay." The little girl climbed onto the couch beside her. "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." Sophia hesitated nervously. "Have you ever been scared before?" Maya stared at her for a moment, then laughed sadly. "All the time. But you still look brave." "That's because people confuse bravery with hiding fear." Sophia frowned thoughtfully. "I don't understand." Maya looked down at Lena's necklace. "Sometimes people are terrified, but they keep moving anyway." Sophia leaned against her shoulder quietly. "My mom used to say that." Maya froze slightly. "Nobody talks about her here anymore." "What happened?" "She died when I was little." Maya's chest tightened again. This house was full of grief too. Sophia suddenly looked up. "You remind me of her." The words hit Maya harder than expected. "Your mom. She was always calm when everybody else panicked." Maya smiled weakly. "I'm not very calm right now." Sophia giggled softly for the first time. Then Victor Kane appeared at the doorway unexpectedly. His expression softened slightly, seeing his daughter smile. "It's late, Sophia." "I know." The little girl hugged Maya tightly before leaving the room. "Good night, Dr. Maya." After Sophia disappeared down the hallway, silence settled heavily between Maya and Victor. He finally spoke first. "She likes you." Maya nodded carefully. "She's a good kid." Victor remained near the doorway. "She hasn't smiled much recently." The exhaustion in his voice sounded real this time. Human. Not billionaire. Not powerful businessman. Just a terrified father. Maya looked down briefly. "She's scared." "I know. And she knows more than people think." Victor's jaw tightened slightly. "She gets that from her mother." Maya noticed something painful behind his eyes. Regret. Loss. Maybe loneliness too. Then his expression hardened again almost instantly. "Get some rest. Surgery begins at 7. Before leaving, he paused slightly. "You survived that accident for a reason." The words lingered in Maya's mind long after he disappeared. The next morning, tension filled the surgical floor immediately. Doctors moved rapidly between rooms. Machines beeped constantly. Nurses whispered updates under pressure. Everything felt like a countdown. Maya scrubbed her hands carefully while replaying every procedure inside her head. Dr. Reynolds entered beside her. "No mistakes today." "There won't be. We're operating near critical vessels." "One wrong movement." "I know." He studied her briefly again, then finally nodded once. For the first time, he almost looked impressed. As they prepared to enter surgery, Maya suddenly noticed a nurse rushing toward Dr. Reynolds. "Doctor, there's an issue with the backup blood supply." "What issue?" "2 bags are missing." Dr. Reynolds cursed under his breath. "How does blood just disappear?" The nurse looked terrified. "We're checking immediately." Maya's instincts immediately sharpened. Something felt wrong again. Very wrong. Then another nurse approached her directly. "Dr. Maya?" "Yes." "A man left this for you." She handed Maya a folded note. No name. No signature. Maya slowly opened it. Her stomach dropped instantly. "You were never the target. Your sister was collateral damage." Her hands started shaking violently. "What happened?" Dr. Reynolds asked sharply. Maya immediately folded the note. "Nothing." But her mind was spiraling now. Collateral damage? What did that mean? Before she could think deeper, Another emergency alert sounded throughout the surgical floor. Sophia's condition was worsening rapidly. Dr. Reynolds immediately turned serious. We're out of time. Everything moved fast after that. Medical teams rushed Sophia toward the operating room while Victor followed closely beside the bed. The little girl looked terrified. Then her eyes found Maya. Promise you won't leave. Maya forced confidence into her voice. I'm right here. Sophia grabbed her hand weakly. Please save me. Maya squeezed gently. I will. As the operating room doors closed behind them, Dr. Reynolds immediately took command. Vitals. Dropping. Prep anesthesia now. Machines beeped rapidly around them. The atmosphere became suffocating instantly. Maya stood opposite Dr. Reynolds while the surgical lights illuminated Sophia's fragile body. For one brief second, fear almost overwhelmed her completely. Then she remembered Lena. You're stronger than me. The memory steadied her hands. Dr. Reynolds began the procedure carefully. Everything remained stable for the first hour. Then suddenly, blood pressure crashing. The monitors exploded with alarms. Internal bleeding. Clamp. I can't see the vessel. Chaos erupted instantly inside the operating room. Dr. Reynolds cursed. We're losing her. The surgical team panicked around them, while Sophia's heartbeat weakened rapidly. Maya's eyes locked onto the monitors, then onto the scans, then onto the exposed vessel beneath the surgical lights. And suddenly, everything clicked. Every diagram she memorized, every emergency scenario, every hidden complication. Her photographic memory connected the entire problem instantly. There, Maya said sharply. Dr. Reynolds looked up. What? The rupture isn't where you think. What? Maya moved quickly beside him. The vessel split lower during pressure collapse. Dr. Reynolds hesitated. Then his expression changed. Because she was right. How the hell did you? No time. Maya grabbed the surgical instrument firmly. Move. Dr. Reynolds stared at Maya for half a second too long. Inside the operating room, half a second felt dangerous. Machines screamed around them while Sophia's heartbeat dropped lower. Move. Maya shouted again. The force in her voice shocked everybody. Even Dr. Reynolds stepped aside instinctively. Sweat rolled down Maya's forehead as she leaned over the operating table with terrifying focus. Everything around her disappeared. The panic, the noise, the fear. All she saw was the damaged vessel. Every page she had memorized months earlier replayed perfectly inside her mind like video footage. Angle, pressure, clamp placement, blood flow response. She moved fast, precise, controlled. Pressure stabilizing slightly, one nurse announced. Dr. Reynolds watched Maya intensely now, not suspicious anymore. Astonished, Maya adjusted the clamp carefully. No, suction lower, she ordered. The nurse obeyed instantly. There, a burst of blood sprayed across Maya's gloves. Several people gasped, but Maya didn't flinch. Come on, she whispered under her breath. The monitors suddenly changed rhythm. Then, heart rate climbing. Relief exploded across the room. Dr. Reynolds immediately stepped back beside her. Continue closure. Together, they worked rapidly to stabilize Sophia while the operating room slowly calmed again. 40 exhausting minutes later, the final monitor readings normalized. One nurse nearly started crying. We got her. Nobody spoke for a moment. Then Dr. Reynolds removed his glove slowly and looked directly at Maya. Where did you learn that maneuver? Maya froze internally. Careful. Very careful. I studied similar cases. That wasn't textbook response. She forced herself calm. I improvised. Dr. Reynolds kept staring at her, then finally nodded once. Well, your improvisation just saved her life. Outside the operating room, Victor Kane stood the second the doors opened. His face looked hollow from hours of fear. Dr. Reynolds removed his mask first. She made it. Victor closed his eyes briefly in visible relief. For the first time since Maya met him, his carefully controlled mask completely cracked. Thank God. Then his attention shifted toward Maya. She still looked exhausted and emotionally numb beneath the surgical lights. Victor walked toward her slowly. You saved my daughter. Maya opened her mouth carefully. But before she could answer, Victor hugged her suddenly. The entire hallway went silent. Even Maya froze in shock. Because powerful men like Victor Kane probably didn't hug anybody, especially not strangers. His voice lowered near her ear. I owe you everything. The guilt inside Maya twisted painfully again. because he didn't even know who she truly was. Hours later, Sophia regained consciousness inside the recovery room. Maya stood nearby, quietly, while nurses adjusted machines around the bed. The little girl blinked weakly, then smiled faintly after seeing Maya. "You stayed. I promised." Sophia's eyes slowly filled with tears. "Does this mean I get to live now?" Maya almost broke emotionally again. "Yes." The child reached for her hand weakly. "Thank you." At that exact moment, Maya realized something terrifying. She couldn't leave now. Not after this. Not after saving Sophia. Because the longer she stayed inside this world, the deeper the lies became. Later that evening, Maya finally returned to the guest room completely drained. But the moment she opened the door, she froze instantly. Someone had been inside. The drawers were open. Her bag had been moved. And resting neatly on the bed, Lena's necklace. Maya's breathing immediately became uneven. Because she had hidden the necklace earlier inside the nightstand drawer. Someone found it. A folded note rested beneath it. Maya picked it up carefully. "You're pretending well, but not well enough." Fear shot through her entire body. She spun around instantly. Nobody. The room was empty. Then her phone vibrated suddenly. Unknown number. Maya answered cautiously. "Hello." A familiar male voice responded softly. "Miss me already?" Maya's blood turned cold. "Adrian, what do you want?" "I think the better question is, what are you doing pretending to be your dead sister?" Maya stopped breathing for a second. "How do you know that?" Adrian laughed quietly. "Because unlike everybody else in that mansion, I actually met both twins." Maya's knees weakened slightly. "What do you want from me?" "Relax. If I wanted to expose you, I would have already done it." "Then why are you calling?" His tone darkened slightly. "Because you're in danger." Maya almost laughed bitterly. "My sister is dead. I'm already in danger." "No," Adrian replied calmly. "You don't understand." Silence. Then, the crash wasn't meant to kill Lena. Maya's chest tightened painfully. "What?" "It was meant to kill you." Her mind went blank. "What are you talking about? You think meeting you at the club was random?" Maya gripped the phone tighter. "Who are you?" Adrian ignored the question. "Someone inside that mansion wanted Sophia dead." Maya's heart pounded violently. "And you were the only person capable of saving her." Pieces started connecting horribly inside her head. The missing blood bags. The threatening note. The brake failure. The targeting. "Oh my God." "Exactly." Maya lowered herself slowly onto the edge of the bed. "If they discover you survived, they'll try again," Adrian finished. Silence filled the line heavily. Then Maya whispered the question haunting her most. "Why help me?" For the first time, Adrian sounded almost emotional. "Because your sister died instead of the person they wanted." The words shattered something inside Maya. Tears immediately filled her eyes again. "This is my fault." "No," Adrian said firmly. "You didn't sabotage those brakes. But I forced her to come. You didn't kill her." Maya covered her mouth as guilt crushed her chest all over again. She should still be alive. Adrian stayed silent for a moment before speaking again. "Listen carefully. Trust nobody inside that house." The call suddenly disconnected. Maya stared at the dead phone screen in shock. Then another realization hit her instantly. If someone inside the mansion truly caused the crash, then Sophia might still be in danger. Maya rushed toward the recovery wing immediately. But halfway down the hallway, she heard voices around the corner. One voice belonged to Victor Kane. The other belonged to Dr. Reynolds. Maya stopped walking instinctively after hearing her own name. "She's hiding something," Dr. Reynolds said quietly. Victor's voice remained calm. "What kind of something?" "I don't know yet." Maya's heartbeat thundered. "But she's not the same woman I trained with." Silence. Then Victor finally replied. "I know." Maya's entire body went numb after hearing Victor's words. "I know." For one terrifying second, she couldn't breathe. Dr. Reynolds sounded confused. "You know?" "Yes." Maya pressed herself tighter against the hallway wall while panic exploded inside her chest. Victor continued calmly. "The real Dr. Maya Hart introduced herself to me months ago during Sophia's first consultation." Dr. Reynolds went silent. "She was brilliant," Victor added quietly. "Impossible to forget." Maya closed her eyes. It was over. Everything was over. "She's not the same person," Dr. Reynolds said carefully. "No," Victor replied. "She isn't." Maya's pulse pounded violently as tears filled her eyes again. How long had he known? Since the beginning? Then Victor's next words stunned her completely. But she still saved my daughter. Silence settled briefly between the two men. Dr. Reynolds lowered his voice. Who is she? Victor answered slowly. She's the twin sister. Maya covered her mouth immediately. She was listed in the accident report. And you said nothing? I wanted to. Victor sounded exhausted now. But after today, I needed answers first. Maya's emotions spiraled wildly. Fear, shame, relief, guilt. Everything collided at once. Then Dr. Reynolds spoke again. You think she's involved somehow? No. Victor answered instantly. I think she's terrified. Maya finally stepped away from the wall slowly. No more hiding. No more lies. She turned the corner carefully. Both men immediately looked toward her. The silence felt crushing. Maya's voice trembled. How long? Victor studied her quietly before answering. Since you arrived. Tears slid down Maya's face instantly. You knew the entire time? You carry grief differently than your sister did. Dr. Reynolds crossed his arms tightly. You should have told me. And achieve what? Victor replied coldly. She saved Sophia's life. Maya looked down in shame. I'm sorry. Nobody responded immediately. Finally, Maya forced herself to continue. My name is Maya Hart. Victor nodded once. I know. My sister Lena died because of me. No, Victor said firmly. She only went out that night because I pressured her. Maya whispered painfully. If I stayed home, she'd still be alive. Dr. Reynolds' expression softened slightly for the first time. Maya wiped her tears angrily. I didn't mean to deceive anybody. I didn't know what else to do. Victor stepped closer slowly. Then tell me the truth now. Maya hesitated briefly before pulling the threatening note from her pocket. Victor read it carefully. His expression darkened instantly. Where did you get this? Someone left it in my room. Dr. Reynolds frowned. What does it mean? Maya swallowed hard. Someone sabotaged the surgery. Victor's eyes sharpened dangerously. Explain. Maya told them everything. Adrian. The nightclub. The phone call. The warning. The missing blood bags. The realization that the crash was never accidental. As she spoke, Victor's expression became colder and colder. By the end, the entire hallway felt tense enough to snap. Finally, Victor spoke quietly. There's a traitor inside this house. Dr. Reynolds looked stunned. You seriously believe this? Victor handed him the note. I don't believe in coincidences. Before anyone could continue, alarms suddenly erupted down the recovery wing. A nurse screamed. Her oxygen levels are dropping. Maya's head snapped toward Sophia's room instantly. All three of them ran. Inside the recovery room, chaos exploded around Sophia's bed. Machines beeped violently. The little girl struggled weakly for breath while nurses panicked around her. What happened? Dr. Reynolds barked. One nurse looked terrified. Her medication was switched. Victor's face turned murderous instantly. What? Maya grabbed the 4-bag immediately. Wrong dosage. Deliberately wrong. Someone had tried to kill Sophia again. Move, Maya ordered sharply. Without hesitation, she disconnected the line and grabbed emergency medication from the crash cart. Dr. Reynolds immediately assisted her. Heart rate falling. Push oxygen now. Victor stood frozen near the doorway watching his daughter fight for her life again. Maya worked quickly despite her shaking hands. Come on, Sophia. The little girl's eyes fluttered weakly. Then finally, the monitors stabilized again. The room collectively exhaled. Victor slowly lowered himself into a chair beside the bed, emotionally destroyed. For the first time, Maya saw tears in his eyes. Actual tears. He grabbed Sophia's hand tightly. I'm here. Maya stepped back quietly, exhausted beyond words. Then suddenly, security guards stormed into the hallway, dragging somebody violently behind them. Adrian. Victor stood instantly. You. Adrian looked bruised, but strangely calm. One guard spoke quickly. We found him near the medical storage unit. Victor's voice turned deadly quiet. Who are you? Adrian laughed weakly. Not your enemy. Then start talking. Adrian looked directly at Maya first, then back at Victor. The sabotage was ordered by someone connected to your company. Victor's jaw tightened. Names. They wanted Sophia gone before the inheritance transfer finalized. Dr. Reynolds looked horrified. You're saying someone tried to murder a child for money? Adrian smiled bitterly. You'd be surprised what rich people do for power. Victor stepped closer dangerously. And you? I used to work security for one of your board members. Used to. I quit after discovering the plan. Victor's eyes narrowed. And the accident? Adrian looked toward Maya quietly. She wasn't supposed to survive. Maya felt sick instantly. Why me? Because the board discovered Sophia trusted your surgical research specifically. You became a risk. Everything finally made horrible sense. The sabotage, the targeting, the surveillance. Lena had died because she happened to be beside her sister. Maya suddenly broke down, crying completely. Victor looked at her carefully. This was never your fault. But she died instead of me. You didn't kill her. Maya covered her face as grief consumed her again. I should have protected her. Victor's voice softened unexpectedly. And yet you still saved my daughter while drowning in your own pain. The words hit Maya deeply. Because despite everything, she had kept going. Days later, sunlight warmed the cemetery quietly. Maya stood before Lena's grave holding white flowers with trembling hands. Everything felt different now. Heavier, but clearer too. I used to think you were the reckless one, Maya whispered softly. A weak smile touched her lips through tears. But maybe you were just better at living. Wind moved gently through the trees. Maya placed the flowers carefully against the headstone. I'm sorry I spent so much time judging you. Her voice cracked. And I'm sorry I never said thank you enough. Behind her, footsteps approached slowly. Victor stood nearby with Sophia. The little girl smiled brightly now. Healthy. Alive. Sophia walked toward Maya first and hugged her tightly. You saved me. Maya closed her eyes briefly. Then she smiled for the first time in weeks. No. She whispered softly while staring at Lena's grave. We saved each other. The camera slowly pulled away from the cemetery as music rose quietly in the background. And somewhere beyond the grief, guilt, and lies, Maya finally began learning how to live again. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more emotional cinematic stories every week. And tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you were Maya?